This is the Khmer Times News. My name is Paolo Bonini, and these are your headlines. One of the worst fires in Cambodian history leaves scores dead, traffic deaths surge, and road accidents continue to rise, and there is yet more tragic news for the dolphins of the Mekong. But first, to our headline story. The deadliest casino fire in Cambodia's history has claimed 27 lives. The blaze is believed to have started due to faulty electrics, and once ignited, the fire spread at an alarming speed, catching many off guard. Witnesses to the inferno saw people desperately jumping from windows to try and escape, and for some, a lonely stairwell was to become their tomb. But from the flames also came an incredible story of heroism.
The fire at the Grand Diamond Casino started in the early hours and raged on for over 5 hours. It was described as a wall of flame that devoured all around it. The casino has more than 400 employees and most managed to flee to safety. But 27 people lost their lives trying to escape in what was one of the largest fires in Cambodia's modern history. The Director of Information solemnly announced, "The death toll is 27, and of that, 21 are Thai nationals, and some of the bodies were found in a stairwell." Now it would seem that they were disorientated by the smoke. They tried to find a safe place from the heat and the flames, but their safe haven was to be their tomb. One rescuer told how he saw people desperately jumping from the roof as the blaze inched closer. Hundreds of Cambodian soldiers and police officers, along with volunteers from Thailand, worked through the day, battling the smoke and the flames, looking to help the survivors. The search had been slowed by fears that the building itself was unsafe, and a member of the Thai rescue group described it as extremely unstable. A majority of the injured have been taken to Thailand for treatment, many in a critical condition, suffering from burns and smoke inhalation. From the flames came a heartbreaking story, and it is that of a 42-year-old casino worker. He himself was sleeping within the complex, and he managed to get out alive. But his father was not so lucky. He said his father had gone back into the burning building, and in doing so, he had managed to help 2 women reach safety. But in helping others, he had pushed his luck too far. He had stayed too long, and he ended up trapped within a room, hemmed in by flames and smoke. It was up until 3 a.m. that Nyeng was able to speak with his father, and Nyeng tells the story of how he spoke to his father on the phone when he was trapped within the burning building, until the phone line cut out, and he knew at that very moment his father had died. And all that Nyeng wants now is his father's body back. The body of a man who died to save strangers. And to me, that is the very definition of a true hero. And a man his son can be extremely proud of.
To the surprise of absolutely nobody, the accident rate on the kingdom's roads are up, and not just by a small percentage. They have rocketed upwards. 1,700 people lost their lives in the past year, and the increase is due to a few factors, the main being the lack of training. And when this is combined with new, faster roads and an ever increase in car ownership, then the lack of training converts into deaths and many a heartbroken family. But there is a government plan to halt the carnage with a new points penalty system.
Road traffic accidents have seen a tremendous rise this year compared to previous years. 1,700 people have died, according to the National Traffic Police. That is 5 dead each and every day. There were over 5,000 traffic accidents reported, and adding to that the figure of over 1,600 people seriously injured, some left paralysed, others now severely disabled. The continuing rise in accidents has led to the government's plan to reduce the number of road deaths. And that is via a points penalty system used widely and successfully in many countries across the globe. The demerit points system started on January the 1st of this year. The National Road Safety Committee said the system for traffic offences has in fact been tested since September, and after some initial teething problems that now have been solved, it is to be rolled out nationwide. The NRCS said during a 4-month trial period, points have been deducted from over 23,000 drivers. And the system itself is jolly simple. You have 0 points, but for each offence you commit, depending on its severity, you will be awarded penalty points. And then, when you reach 12 points, your licence is cancelled. As to how many points for each offence is not yet clear, or if such offences as running from an accident are included. Or in fact, does drunk driving carry a mandatory ban, as it does in many other countries? What is known is this is one huge step in the right direction, making many selfish drivers now responsible for what is not only selfish driving in its purest form, but also extremely dangerous driving.
Last week, we covered the heartbreaking story of how dolphins are losing their struggle to survive in the Mekong River due to illegal netting. Kilometres of nets have been removed from within dolphin sanctuaries, and this week, the World Wildlife Fund is sounding the alarm bells loud and clear, as they are now extremely concerned over the recent deaths of 10 endangered dolphins.
In the face of this alarming situation, the WWF has called on all relevant authorities to act and to roll out appropriate measures to urgently address deaths caused by gill nets and electro-fishing, as well as other illegal fishing activities that are taking place within dolphin conservation areas. The dolphins are simply hemmed in by nets within what is supposed to be a sanctuary, a place that is preserved for them, so that they may try and survive within their natural habitat. But still, thousands upon thousands of metres of nets are laid, and the dolphins are quite simply dying. The WWF said that within just 5 days, Cambodia lost 2 valuable Iridea dolphins from the Mekong. An adult female dolphin was found dead in Karachi town, and the carcass of an adult male was found floating near Karachi Strung Treng border. Both had died entangled in gill nets. The Cambodian country director of the WWF said, "The deaths of these 2 dolphins is very serious and a worrying sign towards a trend of extinction of this species from the Mekong River, and the only solution to this man-made crisis is for all responsible authorities to implement strict law enforcement against these illegal fishing activities. The mortality rate of the dolphin young is only 62%, making the survival rate of calves into adulthood extremely low. And this is a surefire recipe for these dolphins to disappear forever from the waters of the Mekong."
Another story we are following up on is the apocalyptic effect plastics are having on Tonle Sap Lake, which is being strangled to death as it suffocates on thousands of tons of garbage that it is forced to digest. Much of it is plastics. It is an epidemic causing incalculable harm to the lake's wildlife. And it's not just the marine life, it is the birds and every other living animal that relies on the lake for water and for food.
Tonle Sap is the largest freshwater body in Southeast Asia, and it is in dire straits because tons of plastics are ending up in the lake. Several environmentalists and fishermen are now sounding the alarm that the lake is slowly being killed, and with it, the entire fish population. The project manager at Wonders of the Mekong, a lady named Sela, said this week that an estimated 500,000 tons of plastic waste is forecast to be washed into the lake by 2030. Now let me just say that again. In a few short years, 500,000 tons of plastic is to go into the lake, to join the hundreds of thousands of tons that are already choking this lake to death. For plastic does not degrade, it just builds like some toxic giant. In a statement, she said, "The people who live along the lake do not dispose of their plastics properly. They just throw them into the lake. And the fish catch within Tonle Sap has dramatically reduced." She also noted that fishermen on occasions have been scooping up way more trash than fish. But there is hope. The Ministry of Environment has a campaign. It's called Plastic for Rice Exchange Programme. The programme has reduced pollution by about 100 tonnes each year. Over 600 families in the Tonle Sap community are subscribers to the programme, and what they must do is sort their plastic waste at home, and those who participate are offered 10 kilograms of rice. Now that is the carrot, and it's all very well. But some have suggested it should be enforced with a bit more stick as well, by punishing those who are not participating to keep their environment clean, but are brazenly breaking the laws by using the river as their own personal dumping ground.
Some good news now, and that is the ongoing battle to remove the ghosts that haunt the countryside. And I refer, of course, to the plague that is landmines, the final echo of the brutal Khmer Rouge reign. Last year, casualties from landmines and related incidents was down a full 7%. And it is exceedingly good news as Cambodia aims for a landmine-free nation.
Cambodia registered 41 landmine casualties in 2022, a decrease of 7% from 44 in 2021, according to a report released this week. 10 people were killed, 24 injured, and 7 amputated, said the report of the Cambodian Mine Action. From 1979 to December of 2022, landmines and other explosive incidents have claimed the lives of over 20,000 people, and the injured and amputees account for another 45,000. Cambodia is one of the countries worst affected by landmines and other ordnance. An estimated 4 to 6 million landmines and other munitions have been left over from 3 decades of war and internal conflicts that only ended in 1998. An interesting statistic comes from Yale University, and what they say is between 1965 and 1973, the United States dropped some 230,000 1,000 bombs all over Cambodia at over 113,000 different locations. The CMA's vice president says there is yet another 716 square kilometres of land that is yet to be cleared of mines. Cambodia itself is committed to getting rid of landmines from the country by 2025, so there is still much work to be done.
And now it's time to look at our sports news.
And we jump straight into the Premier League results, and we see a most remarkable thing. Our adopted team, Nottingham Forest, held Chelsea 1-1 at home. They must have been absolutely elated. Arsenal, they're doing really well. 4-2 against Brighton, another 3 points, and as we'll see in just a moment, that puts them further in the lead for the Premier League Division 1. Crystal Palace, a valuable 3 points over Bournemouth. They needed that, and they're staying right in the centre of the table. So why don't we slip over to that table now and have a look? And it's all jolly good fun if you're an Arsenal fan. Look at that. They're on 43 points and Man City are 36. That is quite a considerable lead. Man U have covered some ground. They're up into 4th. Fulham, Chelsea, doing all right. Brentford is right there. And I'm pleased to say that our adopted team, which you can't see on the screen, is now no longer bottom. Hurrah! They're actually 3rd from bottom, which is, well, I think reason to celebrate.
It's time to have a look ahead and see what the weather has in store for us next week.
The weekend coming up is basically fair to middling, as a wonderful country western song by Dwight Yoakam says. Wonderful singer, do look him up. But as we look further down the tracks, we see next week. And next week, man, no, it's back. It's rain, it's cloud, and they say there's potentially thunderstorms.
This has been the Khmer Times News. You can contact myself at the studio by mailing us at ktnewsstudio@gmail.com. Please do subscribe and comment and stay up to date with all the breaking news by following us on both Facebook and Telegram. This has been Paolo Bonini, and that was the week that was. I'll see you next Saturday for your weekly roundup.